All right, welcome back, good people. This is Speak with Larry's video podcast. This episode I'm titling Offline Grind. Offline Grind. This is because I'm creating a system right now that you can duplicate yourself if you're interested, but it's only probably going to bring you maybe a couple of $100 a month, right? Initially. Because the thing that you have to do is become familiar with the process, right? Once you become familiar with the process, you're able to add things to it, right? And generate more of an income. But fortunately for myself, I don't really need to do that a lot as much as get familiar with that system so that I'm able to teach that as well as other things that I'm teaching in these episodes that I'm creating. But the offline system that I'm becoming part of, I didn't create it. I'm just becoming part of it. I'm adding it to my system, if you will. Is one of the things I do is I'm an author, right? So I have books. So one of the things I'm going to do is rent different booths at different events. They're called festivals or fairs, if you will. Kind of small, not really big like the fair, the state fair, but in the same, in line with the same mindset, right? There are vendors there. There are people who have products for sale that they've created, products that that they just decided they wanted to sell. Maybe they have shoes and they didn't actually make the shoes, but they're selling the shoes, right? Maybe they get them at a wholesale company, and then you have an audience like a group of people that come there and participate. They get to look at your booth and see what you have available, make a decision if, buying your books or your products is something that they're interested in doing. But that's one of the pluses to becoming part of that system. The part that I'm basically interested in is I'm going to be collecting emails, right? Growing my email list by meeting different people, and giving some things away that, in exchange for an email so that I can get back in contact with those people. Because as you grow your list online, your list becomes your bank, right? You kind of guide them along a path that's in line with the things that you do or that right? And if they're interested, they'll be very receptive to it. They'll be open to what it is that you're sharing via email, right? Because that will be the way that I will be contacting them after, we leave the event, right? So it's all automated after that point, right? Because I've already created a list of emails that go out, periodically. Like one goes out initially, then one goes out the next day, then 2 days later they get another one, and 3 days later they get another one, 5 days later they get another one. So you don't want to back to back to back, because that's not really what you want to, the effect you want to get. Think about how you would receive emails. You don't want to get them too close together, because you're like, wow, I'm getting too many emails from this person, right? And I'm really not interested in what they're doing. So how do I cut that off? Well, you can stop that any time you want to, you know that. But let's say the information or the content that I'm giving you is really valuable to you and you really like it, then that's helping you on your journey, right? Let's say you're just starting out and you're really trying to get your sea legs, if you will, right? Try to get an understanding of the game. And I've been in the game for 9 years plus, so I know a little bit about the game, wouldn't you say? If not, then I'm not doing what I need to do, right? Because I'll just be wasting time. But even with that though, I would still know more than you, right? Because 9 years is consistent. And I have an audio podcast as well. And that audio podcast show that I do, Speak with Larry's podcast, it's also, I just crossed the milestone with that. I just did, as a matter of fact, this week I just did my 250th episode. Now, wrap your mind around that for a second. There's 52 weeks in a year. I create one episode per week. That's it, just one per week. And I just did my 250th episode. So how long does that take? Do the math on that, right? So I would know a little bit about that. I'll probably know more than you, right? Because you have How many? Right. So that's how that works. Not that I'm any better than you. It's just that I've been doing something that you haven't been doing that you want to do. So I would be a good person to contact to get your system up and running, right? Now you're getting it. Now you are understanding. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Each one teach one, right? But you got to be willing to be teachable. If you're not willing to be teachable, then you're going to go around with an attitude of jealousy or envy or insecurity, because people like myself are doing things. We are doing things. And as we're doing those things, we're going to get noticed. It's like sitting in a classroom and raise your hand. When you raise your hand, what's going to happen? Right. People are going to turn around and say, hey, what does he want? Well, the teacher's going to point to you and say, hey, what would you like to say? Right? And people are going to listen. And if what you are saying makes sense to them or is helping their journey, then they're going to be more apt to listen to you the next time and the next time and the next time. Right? That's how it works. But with my online system, what my objective for this system is I'm getting ready to create my video podcast studio to do interviews. And that's going to be kicking off around the first of the year. But I'm going to buy all the equipment via selling products offline. Wow. See how that would work? Now, it's going to cost me probably pretty close to $5,000 to set everything up. And I could go to the bank and get that out and buy all that right now. But why would I do that when I can create some products, sell some books, and pay for that process or that equipment with those funds, right? Like, for instance, can you see this bracelet? You know the bracelet that men wear, right? I know you probably can't see that, but I'm going to show it to you right quick. I made those. I made both of those. Actually, I made a lot of those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell those as well. I don't know how much I'm going to price them. It depends on the audience, right? It depends on the crowd. If it's a large crowd, hey, you get more people to buy, right? But not just am I selling those, I'm going to also sell the little body oils, right? Like I told you, you can add other products to the system and create more revenue. Now, it may cost me, I've done the research because, I'm a researcher. I've done and it's going to cost me about $70 for about 40 bottles, right? Let's do the math at that. $70, and I could sell those for $5 or $10 a bottle, right? That's a profit. And once that wheel starts to spinning, I just re-up again and re-up again. And by the time I get to the third re-up, I'm no longer using my money. I'm using the profit from that, right? That's how that works, ladies and gentlemen. That I'm still receiving a profit from it. That's only one item. Then these bracelets, I went to this store and spent, I think, probably pretty close to $70 all together. And I've got well over 100 bracelets that I've created. 100. $5 or $10 each, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now, come on. Are those wheels starting to turn? And I'm only going to do this once a month. One time per month. I'll go to this event. First I have to look at the website that I purchased, I become a member of, and it costs like $20 a quarter. $20 for 3 months. That's not a lot of money, right? Especially when you're going to be generating money and you're going to be finding out where these places are, right? That's key. You got to find out where the places are. You got to pay the rent, the booth fee. This event comes up on the 17th of August. The booth fee for that was $40. $40. So I pay $40. I go there, set up my system, right? Have my oils, my books, my bracelets, and any other thing I want to have, right? And then I just sit there with my music or my iPad, because I'll have people type their email address into my system. And when you type your email address into my system, you get a free copy of a 90-day workbook that I wrote that sells on Amazon.com right now for $30. You get that for free. So once you fill in your information, I got you. I got you locked in, right? But not only do I have you, but my autoresponder will automatically begin to send you emails. in that along with that cadence I told you. One today, one the next day, skip 2 days, skip 3 days, skip 5 days, right? And then you'll understand how that works for your system. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. And at the end of the 6-month period I'm talking about, from July to December, I probably have about $5,000, maybe a little bit more. Depends on if I add any more products, right? Or depends on if I go from 1 month of it going to an event, I may do it twice a month. You don't know. Hey, it just depends on how good it gets, right? Or the connections that I'm making. But the caveat to that is not just creating an email list or generating income, but I'm also searching for somebody that I want to partner up with. A couple of somebodies, right, who are in line and think like I think, entrepreneurially, right? And they become part of my podcast episodes that I'll be creating after the first of the year to do interviews, right? And I need about a 2 or 3 year commitment. No exceptions. You know, somebody who's committed to the cause, and then who knows what we can be at the end of that 3 years. My objective is to become syndicated, just like the Breakfast Club or Vlad TV or, you know, any podcast episode that you're familiar with, right? Because podcasts are becoming more and more common, more and more profitable, right? More and more easy to access. And to get in the game right now will put you way ahead of 2 or 3 years down the road, right? All right, so offline grind. That's the name of this video or podcast. That's the name of this episode. Stay tuned. I have more.